In this screencast, I'm going to be showing you this controller that I built called the Wedge Arcade, and it's basically composed out of some arcade parts which I got from an arcade replacement part shop online, where you can get all manner of buttons and joysticks and things like that. And the best bit about it is it all lights up. If I just plug this in to the mains, you can see there that it all lights up. And the great thing about it is it behaves just like an arcade controller, which means you can do button bashing. You've got this sort of retro joystick, and it's kind of appeals to me as a sort of retro gaming arcade sort of nerd. Fans of Space Invaders and Pac-Man and Street Fighter will appreciate it, I'm sure. So the internal workings of this basically are from one of these, a games controller USB, and the insides look like this, and each button is wired up to a contact point on the controller, like so. And inside, the buttons are also wired up via this mains adapter to a 9-volt adapter with the lights are all sort of wired up in parallel as well. You can have it without the lights, you don't have to plug it in, it's just the lights won't obviously work. So that's the controller, and I've created this user interface based on the arcade theme, which can be used as a standalone program, and I'll show you what it looks like. Along with my Photoshop skills, I've created this. This is what I'm calling Grain Invaders, because it's a granular synthesizer that's also a filter and a delay in this arcade machine interface. So I've kind of got my Photoshop skills on the go when creating this. To turn it on, you can see here this is the kind of arcade interface. To turn it on, we turn it on down here, and we choose the joystick here. And if I want to record the output of this, I can do so here by clicking and setting a destination for the recording, hitting record, and then it counts through as the recording progresses. I can loop it here, and most importantly I can import a sample. So let's find some kind of sample here to import, and obviously you can import any sample you like. I'm just going to import a little bit of a vocal from an old jazz record, and you can see here that these buttons actually correspond and are laid out in the same way to these. This one here, well, I'll go through these ones on the left first. If I want to play the sample, or select the sample, I need to poll it first. Here we go, poll 10. There we go. So here we go, I'm playing the sample. And if I just turn that up a little bit so I can hear it. Okay, so there's the sample playing. The buttons here on the left, these ones, if I just stop there for a sec, these ones actually control or change the function of the joystick. So if I hit this one here, the joystick's actually controlling the amount of grain, or the amount of sample that's getting selected. And you can see here I can move around, I can make this bigger, I can make it wider and move it up and down throughout the sample. And what this allows you to do is select very small amounts of the sample and create kind of granular synthesis effects. So that's the job of this button here. This button switches it to delay, and you can see here that these two displays are showing me the delay. This is the delay feedback, which goes from top to bottom, and right to left is the delay time. The next one, number 3, this engages the filter. You can see here I'm moving this filter around on the screen, and if I want to change the filter type, I can just click here and change it depending on what kind of filtering I want to do. And then this third button here this changes forward and backwards using the signal tilde object and the speed at which it plays back. So it kind of acts like a sort of pitch, speed, reverse, forward kind of effect, and get some really interesting kind of Space Invader-y results. On this side, these control the actual playback of the sound. So we've got play, select all. So if I've created a section, I can select all, and that will select the whole sample. I can reverse the sample, I can play it forward. And that's about it really. And actually, the controls are quite simple, and it's actually really fun to jam with and start creating crazy sort of Space Invaders, space science fiction sound effects. So I'll just give you a demonstration of what this sounds like. So hopefully you can kind of see what's going on here. So there you go. You get the general kind of gist of what's going on here. So you can literally have hours and hours of fun mashing up sounds and interacting with audio using this games controller, which is quite a novel thing I think. So I imagine this could be used as a fun kind of game, or even as just twisting up samples that you can put in here, any samples you like, and recording them to WAV, so you can then put them into a DAW and mess with them further, or use them in a production or an audio piece, or you could use this live and jam with it in a live kind of scenario. Just to kind of look under the hood again. Here is the subpatcher with the HI object, and then going to all these outlets which correspond to the buttons here, and over here the joystick is actually gives out it comes out of these ones, and it gives out button sort of ons and offs, either 0 or 127 one way, or 255 and 127 the other way. So then that's linked to this metro, which is counting a counter, which allows you to count up and count down, and then the same on the other side, left and right. I'll just turn that off for a sec. And then we've got that linked going to this buffer with this waveform window, which is going through to groove, and that's what's kind of playing back the sample. And then we've got, this is the signal with this R slider going to it, which is kind of controlling the pitch, sort of the forward and backwards. And then we've got this delay over here, and then there's our SF record and the filter over here as well. So those are all the bits and bobs under the hood. So yeah, Grain Invaders, the arcade controller.